MLB insider Bob Nightingale joins the show. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Ronnie, the parade. We got a parade. The Dodgers punch one. What happened to championship? Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Milky Magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. Everything you need to know about your boys in blue in less than an hour. My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do us a favor and subscribe to the #1 Dodgers podcast and show on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit that like button. But without further ado, the man that you guys love to have on this show, the legend, Mr. Bob Nightingale. Go read all of his stuff at usatoday.com. Follow him on X. Bob, last night we got a big deal, one of the big signings so far this offseason. Blake Snell, he goes to the Dodgers on a 5-year, $182 million deal, $60 million around that in deferrals. You have the signing bonus at $52 million. What can you tell us about how this deal got done and how Blake Snell ended up with the Dodgers?
Well, they were wondering one of the three big pitchers. They wanted Blake Snell or Max Fried or Corbin Burns. I think preferably they wanted, of course, a left-hander. So it's probably between Snell and Fried. And, hey, Snell's pitched well on the West Coast. Andrew Freeman had him back in the day with the Tampa, knew him well. And I think he's much more suited for the West Coast. I was wondering how he'd do, if he played in a big market in Boston or New York or Philly, something like that. And I think that's why teams didn't strongly pursue him a year ago. And, but yeah, lights out, historic second half, deferred $62 million. It kind of reminds me of what Ohtani did. I mean, obviously Ohtani deferred a lot more, but the fact he announces his own signing on his Instagram account. And, smart move too with the big signing bonus deferrals because he lives in the state of Washington, no state taxes there. So, great move by the Dodgers. Now they have, a good, strong 7 starters. If they get, Roki Sasaki, now you're talking about 8 starters.
Yeah, absolutely. You essentially have 4 guys that could be game 1 starters in a postseason series with Blake Snell added, Tyler Glasnow, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. You look at Shohei Ohtani back on the mound. He's as good as it gets when he's healthy. But yeah, you mentioned the net present. I mean, 160, 165 million as far as the deferrals and how it looks like financially for the Dodgers. I mean, you're talking about an organization that now is in the highest stratosphere when it comes to paying the CBT. I mean, what can you say about this Dodgers organization and how that Ohtani contract is impacting them this offseason, how aggressive they're already showing to be by getting one of the top free agent arms available?
Yeah, well, they're making their money. They're spending it. A lot of people don't. Think about back in the days of George Steinbrenner. He was about the only guy who spent every penny he had. Could care less about turning a profit. And I think even John Middleton of the Phillies had the great quote a year ago, talking about the 1927 Yankees, as they may remember if they turn a profit or not. Obviously, we know the Dodgers are going to turn a profit. Ohtani thing, was unbelievable. So I'm still amazed that the Angels didn't match that thing. But with $2 million salary and $68 million deferred every year, it costs the Dodgers about $43 a year, really. And they're making more than that just on not only ticket sales, but promotions, sponsorships, tours coming in from Japan. So, I mean, he's the one guy. I'm not, Aaron Judge sells some tickets. Soto sells, a few, but nobody sells tickets like Ohtani. That's why Ohtani, makes about $65 million a year off the field. I think the next closest thing is about $6 or $8 million a year. No one has ever meant this much to baseball as far as sponsorships and stuff. Maybe since Babe Ruth.
Yeah, anywhere. I mean, look at, his box office draw. I mean, if they just had a Shohei Ohtani bobblehead night every single night, that would pay for any player they really wanted. But you look at some stories out there of him potentially making this team upwards of $100+ million per season. I mean, essentially paying for himself and then some, but is that kind of the number where he's at? I mean, generating north of $100 million per season?
I don't know if he's making that high or if he's bringing that kind of revenue, but I think it's over $50 million for sure. I know he made the Angels $25 million a year, so I'm not sure it's 4 times that. But I could see twice that much for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's why season ticket prices are going up at Dodger Stadium, and that's why they just spent $100 million renovating the 2 clubhouses, the home and the visitors. I remember talking to Stan Kasten late in the season. I said, Stan, the home clubhouse is pretty nice. I can see why you're doing the visiting. He goes, it's an arms race. We want to get the best free agents. We want people to want to come here, these share facilities, and want to stay.
Yeah, it's a nice little recruiting tool. I mean, you go to the Dodgers, compete for World Series titles, you have the best amenities. Now, as far as Blake Snell goes, wanted to circle back a little bit. Were there any other teams that were close to signing him? I mean, some runner-up teams. We heard the Red Sox, the Yankees had a Zoom call that was reported, but who was that team that was the next closest team to signing him?
I got to think it was the Boston Red Sox. They're willing to spend money during the Soto sweepstakes. They wanted, two of the 3 top of those top guys. So they really need a left-hander. So that's right. Max Fried is going to make out like a bandit. I'm not saying he wasn't going to pay it anyway. Now he'll really get paid. So the Red Sox really wanted Snell. And this is a much better deal for Snell in the sense that he's from Seattle. He's used to West Coast. I'm not sure how he would have fared in Boston. That's a tough place to pitch with the fans, everything else. I'm sure Corbin Burns wanted to go there. It's probably tough for Corbin Burns to see Snell there and not him. Who doesn't want to pitch at Dodger Stadium? Great pitcher's ballpark, and obviously, you're a World Series contender, every single year.
Yeah, Corbin Burns, Bakersfield guy. But I agree with you. The West Coast, perfect fit. He's played for the Giants, played for the Padres. Now he's playing for the right NL West team where he can compete for a title. Now, as far as where the Dodgers go from here, their next move, you still have to fill some spots in the outfield. And Teoscar Hernández, he was fantastic in his 1 year with the Dodgers, makes the All-Star game, wins the home run derby, was fantastic in the postseason. What can you tell us about where he stands right now?
Yeah, they're probably letting him look around and say, okay, hey, if someone blows us the water, fine. Usually the Dodgers set a mark. Say, okay, if you're willing to sign for this, we'll do it. Otherwise, we'll turn our attention somewhere else. I think Teoscar Hernández comes back. He loved playing for the Dodgers, and you saw during the postseason, during the parade, everybody raved about what a great teammate he was. So I think Teoscar Hernández is back, and then you kind of fill in from there. But hey, if Teoscar Hernández decides not to come, they'll grab someone else. They certainly enough outfielders are out there, and they do have some depth just in the returning guys they have.
And of course, the other question is, how does Teoscar Hernández impact Juan Soto? Now, we've seen some reports Juan Soto was offered by the Dodgers along with 4 other teams. How serious do you think the Dodgers are when it comes to pursuing Juan Soto?
I think they talked to Scott Boras, but obviously they talked to Boras, about Snell.
Yeah.
Realistically, I think there's a better chance of you and I playing right field for the Dodgers next year than Juan Soto.
Okay.
They don't need him. I just won a World Series without the guy. And one thing to remember too, Doug, is that I'm not saying it was his fault, but you're the Dodgers. You played the Padres a million times last 2 years. Why were the Padres so much of a better team last year without Soto than they were with him? I'm not saying Soto made a difference, but obviously they were a better team, played much better. So I think Soto's staying in New York. I won't rule out Boston or Toronto, but I don't think the Dodgers really into it. Just they don't need him. Why bring him on?
Yeah, I just want to say, Bob, you made my day by saying I have a chance to play right field for the Dodgers. So I want to thank you for that. Now, as far as the Soto sweepstakes, do you think that it's linked to Teoscar Hernández? I mean, when do you expect a decision from Teoscar's camp? And do you think we could see something before the winter meetings? And you already said that you think the Dodgers are the favorites to re-sign Teoscar.
Yeah, I don't think it really involves Soto just because you're only talking, 3-4 teams. It's not like, Teoscar Hernández is a big drop-off financially. So, no, I think he'll look around. I'm sure, teams like Boston and Toronto and Philadelphia, if they make some moves, I think some teams probably have them on hold, saying, hold off now, don't sign yet, because we want to trade away some of our surplus of outfielders and then go after you. So he'll make out quite well. I mean, it paid off for him, signed the 1-year contract, just like it paid off for Blake Snell, getting that, opting after 1 year too.
I agree. I think that fit-wise, you make a fantastic point. I mean, Teoscar was great for this team. Even that Padres team, still very talented, but they did have a great year, and they were one win away from knocking off that Dodgers team and possibly winning their first World Series in franchise history. So, yeah, I like the move they made last night, going out there, signing Blake Snell, going after Teoscar, kind of getting more quantity and still getting quality of that, but then giving up $500 to $700 million for one player in a Juan Soto that has some defensive deficiencies, could block a position here and there. So I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. I want to ask you, though, about how the Blake Snell signing could impact Walker Buehler, because last time we talked, you told us that you thought the Dodgers probably has the inside track, maybe a 1-year prove-it deal. After that, Walker Buehler, things started clicking the postseason. Had 13 scoreless in the postseason, got the final out of the World Series. How much has things changed for Walker Buehler? Is his market more robust than it was because of his performance in the postseason? And where do you think the Dodgers stand with Walker Buehler right now?
Well, I can't see Buehler coming back now. Same with Jack Flaherty. I mean, obviously they could have kept Buehler by giving a qualifying offer. I think Buehler would have taken it at $21 million.
Yeah.
I'm sure they talked and said, okay, we'll offer you, say around 15 or so. And he wasn't interested. So I think some teams will jump on Buehler and give him a, nice fat 1-year contract, with a player option for second year. And then he, jumps out and does it. So yeah, he was, great in the postseason, or solid in the postseason, I should say. But, great in the fact he came out in the 9th inning in Game 5, particularly being a free agent, coming off the surgery and everything else. Great team player. So, but I would doubt it now. It's like, where does he actually fit? You already have 7, 8 starters, particularly like you said, if you get the young pitcher, Roki Sasaki from Japan, there's really no room for him or Flaherty.
Yeah, and if you're Walker Buehler too, you want to be in a situation where you can almost do what Flaherty did last season, where you sign that 1-year prove-it deal, you prove yourself, you go re-enter the market, and you get yourself a nice contract. With the Dodgers, there's a lot of quality pitchers. You just kind of wonder where he fits in the mix. Now, you mentioned Roki Sasaki. Lots of speculation about Roki, when it will be posted, which team will sign him. Right now, what do you think is the biggest factor in where he'll ultimately sign?
I don't think it's money at all. I mean, people talk about the international, cap people have. Dodgers obviously have the most right now during this signing period. If he waits till January 15th, which is what Rob Manfred thought he's going to do, then the Dodgers are kind of in the middle of the pack. But, what's a couple million? I mean, he's sacrificing over $200 million by coming out early, just like Ohtani did. That's why Yamamoto waited until he was 25. He got $325 million out of it. Ohtani got, $2 million out of it. So same thing. I don't think money's a factor at all. He's, kind of a country kid. So, does he want to play with his friends? Does he want to play with his mentor and idol, in the Ute Darvish in San Diego? So the speculation's been there for a year that he's going to sign with the Dodgers. That was a done deal. Obviously, his agent, Joel Wolf, denies that. The Dodgers deny that. So everybody wants him. I mean, he's a great young talent, and scouts will say, better talent than than Yamamoto or Ohtani. A number of guys, not proven yet, but raw. So if he doesn't sign with the Dodgers, I think he signs with the Padres. Padres are very hopeful, cautiously optimistic. I can't see him going anywhere else.
So you have the 2 West Coast teams, 2 NL West teams. You said if you talk to 30 teams, 30 of them think he's going to the Dodgers. But right now you feel like it's a Dodgers-Padres race. And do you think he ultimately ends up with the Dodgers? It's still kind of up in the air.
I still think the Dodgers, unless he wants to, be his own brand. If he wants to say, where am I going to fit in there? Already, just with the Kershaw, with the, all the Cy Youngs, obviously Yamamoto, now of course with Blake Snell, it's like it's like low in the totem pole, 4th or 5th. Where if he goes to San Diego, San Diego needs him badly because after this season they lose Dylan Cease as a free agent. They lose a I'm trying to think. They lose another one besides Dylan Cease. The pitcher they just got from the Yankees. That's right, I think.
Yeah, King.
Yeah, Michael King.
Yeah,
So both those guys are free agents after this year.
yeah.
So they need some help. They don't have that kind of money. They got some backloaded contracts where they're going to have some money crunch here coming up after this year. So they really need him. But for the Dodgers, you get him, man, they're set up for a long, long time.
Yeah, and then you got three of the best Japanese pitchers ever on the same team in a potential dynasty. I mean, that definitely gives me goosebumps. It puts chills on Dodgers fans, that's for sure. Now, a couple more. We got Bob Nightingale from USA Today joining us here on Dodgers Dugout Live. Now, Bob, one of the big storylines as far as internal options and whether you do go external is the shortstop position. Dodgers general manager Brandon Gomes said a couple of weeks ago that Mookie Betts is going to go back to the dirt, play in the infield. What we don't know is, will he be back at the shortstop position? Now, you have Tommy Edman that played the shortstop position for the Dodgers in the postseason. Miguel Rojas is back. You could try Gavin Lux back at the shortstop position. Then there's Willie Adames out there, the top free agent shortstop option. What is your sense of what the Dodgers will do at shortstop?
I think they'll put a price tag out there for Willie Adames. Say, okay, if you're really interested in coming here, it's kind of take it or leave it. We're not going to get into a bidding war for you. That sort of thing. So otherwise, I think they kind of go internal. I don't see Betts returning to shortstop. He struggled when he was there. Now he's a year older. Just keep him at second base and leave him there. So, I mean, obviously Rojas can play the position. You got guys can kind of, fill in the gap. But, they don't need that Willie Adames. Don't have to have that star guy. And if they turn out they need him, they'll go get some help at the trade deadline, that sort of thing. But except for Adames, I don't see them going, big on any of those guys. I think they'll say, hey, you want to play with us? You want to have a chance to win a World Series? You want to play in front of packed houses every night? Marketing-wise, you want to be in L.A.? So they're going to appeal to people that way.
So it feels like right now, Blake Snell is going to be their biggest offseason signing. Then hopefully you re-sign Teoscar Hernández if you're the Dodgers. Maybe a Blake Trinan you bring back from that standpoint. Any word on Blake Trinan? Do you think the Dodgers are the front runners to bring him back? Or what's his market look like after the postseason that he had?
Yeah, I mean, just a year he's had. I mean, he's had some injury problems in the past. But I would think Blake Trinan is so comfortable there, knows the trainers, knows the way he was used, the coaching staff, Dave Roberts. So I would think they'd certainly be the favorites. They know him better than anybody else. He enjoyed himself pitching there. So why wouldn't you want to, go back and have a chance to win back-to-back World Series titles, which hasn't happened in the National League since the Big Red Machine back in 75, 76. So it'd be cool to be part of history.
And the last question I want to ask you, Bob, and appreciate you have the answers to all the questions we've ever had in the world. So thank you so much, Bob Nightingale, for joining us. Is how, as the MLB world, other teams out there, I mean, you have big markets like the Yankees and the Cubs and the Red Sox. I mean, how are they viewing what the Dodgers are doing right now? It almost feels like the Dodgers have this cheat code as far as Ohtani's contract, as far as getting players to defer money. They're acquiring all this talent. Now they have that 162-game World Series that they always wanted, and it feels like this is the beginning of, like you mentioned, a potential dynasty of a team that could go back-to-back. How are teams viewing this Dodgers team around the league?
Pretty much like back in the day with the Yankees, that where all the free agents went. They were the team to beat. People love playing in New York, marketing, everything else. And now it's the Dodgers. I mean, you get to play in front of full houses every night. They're going to have a big, beautiful clubhouse. Everybody gets along that team, very close-knit team. So there's really only, I think the only negative might be just fighting through traffic, before games and after games. And that's it. And California taxes are high. But otherwise, I mean, it's the premier destination where, everybody wants to play for the Dodgers. And I got to find it. I remember when Andrew Freeman, when they signed or hired Andrew Freeman, I remember writing like it was a stroke of genius. I got to find that thing because as much as he's done there, I mean, beyond what everybody imagined. I mean, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame as a baseball executive, but he's done a wonderful job. And the thing is, too, they're not just buying up players. Player development is the best in all of baseball, and they draft better than anybody else in baseball. The player development's been unbelievable. I mean, they get guys. They're always drafting last or next to last, pretty much every single year. But why are their drafts better than everybody else that's picking the top 5 every year?
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Andrew Friedman. We have a saying here in Dodgerland, in Friedman we trust. I love hearing you say that he'll be a Hall of Fame executive one day. And Friedman has already said he wants this to be the golden age of Dodger baseball. Well, Bob, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. We are thankful for you. Always join us here on Dodgers Dugout Live, breaking it down. Actually, Bob, one more. What's your favorite Thanksgiving side? What's your go-to?
Greens. I love collard greens. So, yeah, they're the perfect thing. So
Go with the healthiest option, Bob. Go with the healthiest option. That's how you look so good, right?
Well, mac and cheese, that's not too healthy. So kind of a combo play.
Yeah, there you go.
1A.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Bob Nightingale. Mr. Nightingale, go follow him on X. Go follow his work at USA Today. This guy knows all things Dodger baseball, all things Major League Baseball, and stay locked in with him through free agency for all the latest news and rumors around the league. Bob, enjoy your Thanksgiving, enjoy the holidays, and we'll catch up with you at the winter meetings, my man.
Sounds good. Look forward to seeing you and have a great Thanksgiving, Doug.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob. Well, there he goes, Mr. Bob Nightingale, MLB insider. Lots to unpack about things that he said. I really love what he said at the end there because I haven't heard a lot of people mention that. A lot of people talk about Dave Roberts now. I mean, we've been saying on this show for a long time, but Dave Roberts as a Hall of Fame manager, Andrew Friedman as a Hall of Fame executive. When you look at the history that he's put together, the file and trial, what he did with the Rays. And he also points out the fact that the system is designed for the Dodgers not to have success in the draft and to be able to draft, identify, scout, and put together elite teams year after year. So it's tough to be consistently great in Major League Baseball. It's tough to be a perennial contender. The Dodgers have figured out a way to do it. And Andrew Friedman is one of the biggest reasons why. We got Metal Rules V, $10 super chat. Keep up the great work, DMAC and crew. We appreciate that. Give you a let's go Dodgers. We'll put that towards the Teoscar Hernández super chat fund that we're putting together. You got to get that extension done. We got to Kyle Reed. Love the content, DMAC. Appreciate that, Kyle Reed. Give you a little fire take. Actually, wait, I finished it. One bad. Give you a fire take for that one. We got Bilal K. This team's vision is undescribable. B920, Smith and Snell equal deadly combination. Kyle Reed, it's not our fault. Other owners defer opportunities to win. Exactly. I mean, all 30 teams out there can do what the Dodgers are doing, but the Dodgers, they make a ton of money. They generate a lot of revenue. They lead the league in attendance. You have a Dodgers brand. I mean, you can thank the success that this team has to the Brooklyn Dodgers, right? It's traced all the way back to Branch Rickey, to Walter O'Malley, Peter O'Malley, the visionaries within this organization that developed such a strong brand that has led to a dominant run in 2024. And really, I don't think they're slowing down anytime soon. Now, a couple more details about the Blake Snell contract after we went live yesterday is that Blake Snell's deal, it includes $60+ million in deferrals. And that takes the present day value of his contract down to 160 to around 165 million. I had him projected at 172 million. So you're around that range when you look at the present day value of the contract with the deferrals. He also takes home a $52 million signing bonus and a no trade protection, a limited no trade protection. And the deal includes a $5 million assignment bonus if he does get traded. So it does protect him. They're not going to trade him, right? They wanted to bring him in for a reason, to be a frontline pitcher. And you look at how this impacts the Dodgers books financially. Well, I was talking to Bob Nightingale about the Dodgers are all the way in financially. The Dodgers have already gone past the CBT threshold for 4 straight seasons. And with the current state of their payroll, that's going to push them past $300 million. The Blake Snell sign, they will be north of $300 million now. And that's going to have some financial consequences if you look at it that way, because that gets them so close to the $301 million Cohen threshold. So they're likely going to be past that. So even though they got him for 5 years, $182 million, present day value at 160-ish million with the signing bonus, with the deferrals, it's still going to come with a $25 to $30 million penalty for what they're going to have to pay in competitive balance tax. Because once you pass that final threshold, that top tier, you're looking at a surcharge of 110%. So the Dodgers are paying big time money to be able to operate at the top of the market. And when you look at his entire contract, that presents a $32 to $33 million luxury tax impact. So even with the present day value, you're looking at a lot of money the Dodgers are going to be giving up. I mean, even the Ohtani deal, you still have a $46.1 million CBT hit with that. So all this is to say that the Dodgers don't care. They know they're making a ton of money. They know that they're in a position to pursue more World Series titles with this group, and they think that Blake Snell is the guy to do it. We broke down how good Blake Snell is when he's at his best, and I think the biggest takeaway for me is the overall dominance. The fact that when he's right, he doesn't just get hitters out, he dominates them. And I love the fact, too, that he's a second half pitcher. The Dodgers are playing for the second half. The Dodgers are playing for October. And his numbers, they indicate that. In the first half throughout his career, Blake Snell has a 2.95 ERA with a 28.4% strikeout rate. The second half, that ERA goes from a 3.95 ERA to a 2.39 ERA, and the strikeout rate goes from 28.4% to 32%. And you can say the knock on Blake Snell is the 2 Cy Young seasons he's had are the only ones where he's pitched more than 180 innings in a season. Outside of that, he's sitting around 125, 130 in that range. But the Dodgers are going to have a 6-man rotation. The Dodgers are going to manage their starters to optimize them and try to keep them fresh and healthy and make sure they have gas left in the tank in the postseason. So that's why I think this is a great fit for the Dodgers, because you get a pitcher that has the highest ceiling. Blake Snell's ceiling is superior to Max Fried. They're not sitting at the same table when it comes to stuff plus, dominance, how he can punch guys out. They're not even close. Corbin Burns has not been striking out guys at the clip that he was when he was at the peak of his powers. I mean, just look at Blake Snell down the stretch last season. Last 14 starts, had a 1.23 ERA. Opponents were hitting 1.23 off of him, and he was punching out guys at over 38% of the time. I mean, that's a serious dominance. I mean, the underlying stuff looked good. He had a 177 FIP in that stretch. So Blake Snell was the guy. He was number one for my free agent board. He was my number one target for a reason, because I know I'm talking to people how interested the Dodgers were in Blake Snell. They were very high on Blake Snell. They were high on Corbin Burns. Not a lot of buzz there for Max Fried. All like the guys that the Dodgers like. I'm going to roll with the winners here. I'm going to roll with the team that has put together the best organization in baseball. Now, we can unpack a lot of this stuff from what Bob Nightingale said. He said that this signing practically eliminates Walker Buehler and Jack Flaherty coming back. I don't think the Dodgers were ever considering signing Jack Flaherty to a multi-year deal. I think they like the idea of Walker Buehler back on a 1-year, $15 million prove-it deal with a potential player option for the second year. But Buehler has to do what's best for him. And he needs to get into a rotation where he can give you 20 to 25 starts. If that team makes the postseason, then fine. If he signs with a lesser team, then he can do what Jack Flaherty did with the Tigers last season. You start with, and the funny thing is the Tigers didn't make it in the postseason, right? But you end up with a team that you don't think is going to make the postseason. They trade you at the deadline. That way that any team that signs you doesn't have to give a qualifying offer. So I still think Buehler's in a pretty solid spot, but it does feel like the chances of him being a Dodger aren't as high now as they would have been if they didn't sign Blake Snell. Because Blake Snell, like I said, the Dodgers have four starters on their team that could start game one of a postseason series. Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and Shohei Ohtani. What do you do if you're there's a world where next year in the NLDS, like Yamamoto doesn't pitch, Glasnow doesn't pitch, Shohei doesn't pitch. Blake Snell doesn't pitch, although they signed him. I'm pretty sure he's going to be one of those guys. But just think about that. I'm just saying in the event that they do sweep a series. So it's pretty incredible when you look at the run that the Dodgers are on. It's just unbelievable. And Roki Sasaki, Nightingale said, is down to the Dodgers and the Padres. Anytime it's Dodgers versus Padres, I like my chances. I mean, historically, I like my chances there. Yu Darvish, how much longer is he going to be a Padre? He's towards the end of his career. Do they have as much stability in San Diego as they do in Los Angeles? The answer is no. Are they as good as developing? No. Do they need him more than the Dodgers need him? Sure. But I think it's really going to come down to, does he want to play with Shohei and Yamamoto? How aggressive will they be in recruiting him? How has this relationship been established throughout so many years? Because the Dodgers, we're on the verge of all-time greatness. All-time greatness with this organization. I don't think that we're going to see ever again in our lifetime a Dodgers run like we're seeing now. I think we're peaking as a Dodgers franchise, and it's occurring starting all the way 13 years ago when you started this run of 13 straight postseason appearances and these division titles. Now you're stacking full season World Series. Now you're silencing the haters. Now everyone hates on the Dodgers. You know how the Dodgers doing something right? Everyone hates on them. Fans of other teams. Fans that want to be the Dodgers. Fans that are mad at their organization. Don't be mad at the Dodgers. Be mad at your cheap owner. Be mad at your organization because no one wants to sign with them. We got two true blue. Snell, a three-peat D-Mac. I see what you did right there and give you a nice little fire take. I like that. Snellzilla. If you Snell what the Rock is cooking. We got the Long Raider. Dodgers collecting MVPs and Cy Youngs. Yeah, I mean, they are collecting the Cy Young MVP All-Star Infinity Stones out there, and Blake Snell is the latest example. CHF 199. Does Blake mean no Burns? I think 100%. I don't think that Blake and Burns will sign with the same team. I think that Burns was going to require more years, and you were going to have to give north of $200 million for Corbin Burns. So I think they would have pursued Burns if Blake Snell signed with another team, but Blake Snell was their guy. The Dodgers get their guy. That's just what happens. BC, last time a reigning World Series champion signed a player with multiple Cy Young awards was in 1999 when Roger Clemens helped the Yankees three-peat history repeating itself. Yeah, exactly. That's what happens. Things are snowballing. Things are steamrolling. The dam is broken, right? Now that they don't have to play with this pressure of, oh, can we win a World Series? No, they know they can win a full season World Series now. Organization knows it. The roster knows it. The manager knows it. And they're going all the way in. Okay, so next segment, though, we're going to bring back a segment we haven't had for a while. That is Designated Twitter, the best of Dodgers social media.
Designated Twitter, the best of Dodgers social media.
So what we got here, because you guys were really flying on social media yesterday, reacting to Blake Snell, and there were some really awesome tweets. I love this one from And That's Baseball. Giants signed Blake Snell on a prove-it deal. He proved it. They held on to him at the deadline knowing he was likely to opt out. They missed the playoffs. Then he left for their biggest rivals. Don't think you could draw it up any worse. I love that. Anytime you can just rip the Giants, rip the Padres, whatever it is, how amazing is that? I mean, look, the truth is the Dodgers were interested in Blake Snell before he signed with the Giants. The Dodgers were interested in Blake Snell at the trade deadline. The Padres get Blake Snell. They don't win a World Series with him. Dodgers get Blake Snell when he's happy, he signed a contract. You win a couple more World Series, you're feeling really good about this. Now, next one comes from, let's go for two. I love this from Just Baseball. This duo will be back in the same rotation 5 years later. And you've got Tyler Glass now. You've got Blake Snell. They're both playing for the Dodgers. They were on the Rays. That's from Just Baseball. Then how about the reactions on Instagram? Alex Vesia, he said, hey, let's go. So, a lot of people just will text things and they'll write things, but I don't think they're actually reacting that way. I'm pretty sure that Alex Vessia was actually like, hey, let's go, with the fire emoji in his real life there. And the real Gavin Lux, he wrote, can we play ranked play together? Is that a video game thing? Call of Duty COD. There we go. What else we got here? There we go. We got that one. I like this one. This one really kind of was fired to me. Tony at SAA1124 says, everyone loved the Dodgers first round exit. S ain't funny now, huh? Yeah, exactly, right? That's a fire take right there. That's a fire take from Tony over on the X. I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's not funny anymore. The Dodgers, they got extremely mad. The Dodgers, it was the Arthur meme, you know, after they lost. And since then, look what they've done. You've absolutely broken baseball as far as putting together the best roster in a creative way with deferrals, attracting the best talent, and it's led to a World Series title. We got, what else? What other ones we got, Noel?
We got a couple right here.
Here we go. We got, okay, I love this one. This one kind of hurts after our conversation with Bob Nigo. This one says, Walker Buehler truthers hold the line. I love that. Give you Let's Go Dodgers right there. It's a picture of Buehler on the ground after winning the World Series title. Look, I look at this for Walker Buehler. I mean, he certainly has a lifetime once a Dodger, always a Dodger card. And you want Walker Buehler back. I think from a talent perspective and where he is right now with his stuff and the things he figured out and when things started to really click for him with the four-seam fastball, with the knuckle curve, with the sweeper in the postseason, the confidence, the velocity, you feel good about where he's at. But there is something cool about if he does have to sign with another team, that last moment will be getting the final out of the World Series. So there'd be something special about that. I want Walker Buehler back. I'll be sad. I'll fall to my knees in a Five Guys, but I'll be sad. I'll be heartbroken if Walker Buehler signs with another team. But still, I also feel like, hey, it's kind of cool. Your last pitch for the Dodgers was to win a World Series title. How about this one? Just a chill guy enjoying today's news. You got Blake Snell. You got the chill guy with the Dodgers uniform. This is from my man Doyers Dave. I love Doyers Dave over on the X, man. Guy's always cooking that fire content. And this is why I got to bring in Noel here, bro. Because Noel, this meme has been going on for the last couple of weeks. And I guess that's me maturing as a person where I don't need to know like every meme. Yeah. Where's this come from?
I mean, I noticed it too after a couple of days. I saw it a lot on TikTok and it would be playing that little chill beat in the background. And really it feels like it's like the trend on TikTok where it's like, I'm just a girl. Like no matter what happens, like girls just say, I'm just a girl. Like, you know, like nothing's really that big of a deal. If I like get into trouble, I'm just a girl. I think it's the guy equivalent because like, you know, we're just chill guys at the end of the day. We like to watch sports, play video games, go out with the boys. And a lot of the ones that I saw were like when my girl gets mad at me for doing something. And then it's like, I'm just a chill guy, just, you know, minding my business. So that's really how I pinpointed it. I think a lot of dudes just like, you know, we're mellow, like we all do what we do and nothing's too big of a deal. I posted one of a couple days ago on DN Instagram. And it was like when my girl gets mad at me for being on my phone too much, but I'm just a chill guy trying to see if Teoscar Hernández re-signed with the Dodgers. So that's the way I like to see it, man.
So basically, to me, it's kind of like the Kevin James meme, but a cartoon version, I'm guessing. This is from Know Your Meme. Just a Chill Guy, also known as My New Character or the Chill Guy meme, is a meme focused on a character called My New Character, who's a light brown dog with a human body wearing a gray sweater, blue jeans, and red shoes. In the drawing, the character is smirking at the viewer with his hands in his pockets. The drawing was originally shared in a tweet by ex-user Philip Banks in late 2023, paired with a caption, My New Character, his whole deal is his new chill guy. So yeah, it's a couple years to kind of catch on, but yeah, I'm just a chill guy enjoying the Dodgers becoming the villains of baseball. So I'm just a chill guy watching Andrew Friedman cook in the offseason. So yeah, I'm trying here. I'm trying with the I'm just a chill guy memes. But we got some super chats. Adrian Gonzalez 999. Do you think this signing opens up the possibility to use the young pitchers such as Sheehan, Grove, or even May and Gonsolin as trade bait? I mean, you look at their roster. It's a great question from Adrian Gonzalez. Appreciate the super chat 999. Yes, absolutely. Just because, I mean, you're looking at the roster right now, you have 38 guys on that 40-man roster, 23 pitchers and 14 position players at the top of my head. And at some point, you do got to give these guys opportunities because, I mean, like someone like Dustin May, for example, he has one more year of team control before he hits free agency. A guy like a Bobby Miller has stuff that would be attracted to other organizations. Do you see these guys as relievers? Do you see these guys as depth options in the event that one of these starters goes down with an injury during the season? Or do you use these guys to flip for relievers that you could bolster this group? Let's say that they don't sign a Blake Trinan, or they do want to get a more traditional tried and true closer like a Devin Williams, someone like that, Emmanuel Clase. I mean, if you want to go get a big time closer out there, do you flip one of these young up and coming pitchers? Sheehan's a guy who's coming off the injury. Frosso's coming off the injury. Stone is injured right now. So they do have a lot of young pitching talent within this organization. River Ryan, Tommy John surgery. Kyle Hurt, Tommy John surgery. So the way this usually works out, and you guys have seen this last season when the Dodgers, they set a franchise record by using 40 pitchers in one season. The way this typically works out is the season starts. On paper, the Dodgers have these guys they signed, these returning players, and then a couple of them go down, and then you go to the surplus, and then they fill out innings and fill out starts. But yeah, the truth is you develop these guys, you invest a lot of time in getting them where they need to be, but sometimes you got to flip guys. And look what they did with the Yency Almonte and Michael Busch trade last season. They trade him for Jackson Ferris. Jackson Ferris, now the number one prospect in the Dodgers organization. So you can flip guys for prospects that you don't have to put on the 40-man roster. And when you're picking where the Dodgers pick late in the draft because of how much success they have, that's kind of how you bolster the farm system. So by the way, we have Jackson Ferris on the show. I interviewed him yesterday, so I'm going to drop that interview on Friday. Jackson Ferris is a good dude, man. Bright future. Ricardo Moreno, $5 super chat. DMAC, I think we're going to be surprised if the Japanese pitcher joins the Dodgers. Roki, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if he signs the Dodgers or the Padres at this point. I think he signs the West Coast team. I think that the Dodgers and the Padres both have those connections to Japanese players. Location-wise, it's a shorter flight to Japan, which always is beneficial, and Japanese players definitely like that. But also, I mean, you've seen Kodai Senga. I mean, you've seen Japanese players play on the East Coast too. So I wouldn't rule that out, but I just feels like what Bob Nightingale said, a Dodgers-Padres battle for Roki Sasaki at the end of the day. Yeah, let's jump into some seventh inning stretch. All your questions about all things Dodger baseball.
The seventh inning stretch.
We got Martin Enrique Ruelas, $20. Appreciate that. I'm going to give you a nice little Let's Go Dodgers for that. We got Mike Lopez, $2 super chat. Snell, first phone call after signing was to David Vassay. David Vassay has definitely always loved him some Blake Snell, and I've seen those guys chop it up. And also Juan Toribio, who is now in Miami now. But yeah, Blake Snell, I mean, he's a dog. He's a dog, and he's definitely what I think this organization needs on the mound, is a guy that has that edge, a guy that can pitch with that nasty dog mentality that you need in the postseason. I mean, his postseason ERA, he has a sub-3 postseason ERA. He's pitched great at Dodger Stadium throughout his career. He's from the West Coast. I mean, there's so many things that now that the deal is done, you're like, holy crap. I mean, everything makes sense for Blake Snell to be in Los Angeles. The connection to Andrew Friedman, connection to Tyler Glass now. I mean, there's all these connections, right? We have Longy Raider says, does Dalton Rushing have a cup of coffee this year? 100%. Give you a home run for that one. Dalton Rushing is going to make his big league debut in 2025. He almost did late in 2024. He was right there on the edge, and he was ready to go. So unless the Dodgers go insane and sign multiple free agent outfielders or trade for one, I fully expect Dalton Rushing to make his big league debut in left field at some point in the 2025 season. Dalton Rushing is the Dodgers' top prospect. He's got more experience in left field. We had him on the show a couple times, and one thing he's told us is, look, whatever he needs to do to make it to the show, he's willing to do. If that means play catcher or play in left field, it doesn't matter. He's got a big league level bat. So I certainly think that at some point during the 2025 season, you do have to give the top of your farm system opportunities to see if they can be guys. I mean, you saw Andy Pages. Andy Pages this season got off to a great start. He was outstanding, went through a slump, then started to figure things out again, and then was called up in the September called-ups, performed well, had a 2-home run game in the postseason. So Andy Pages, they gave an opportunity to last season. They know what they have in him. Dalton Rushing, he deserves an opportunity because you'd love to just pay $200 million at every single position and just be all-stars. The Dodgers are almost that anyway, but for this to truly be a sustainable dynasty, you're going to need contributions from some of this top-level young talent. You got to hit on these guys because either you hit on them and they play for you, or you flip them in trades for pieces that you think that can help you now. Because if Dalton Rushing comes up and he's great and the Dodgers need to fill a need for whatever reason, you could trade him at the deadline. If he comes and performs well and can stick at this level, you could have a corner outfielder for years to come. So I certainly believe that Dalton Rushing will make his big league debut. In fact, I guarantee he'll make his big league debut in 2025. We have a Pat Patterson. Any chance about Devin Williams? So Devin Williams certainly, I don't think is something that we'll see during the offseason, but who knows what will happen as the season progresses, because I think with Devin Williams, the Brewers, they know what they kind of have in him, and the Brewers, their stance on Devin Williams could be to just keep him now. And that's kind of what you're hearing right now. You want to kind of keep him during the offseason. And look, that's a team that has the reigning manager of the year. That's the team that made the postseason. I mean, they were a Pete Alonso bomb. I mean, they almost beat the Mets, and we're going to face the Dodgers. So, yeah, I still think that they'll probably end up keeping him, see how the start of the year goes, and then if they need to flip him at the deadline, they'll do that. But they did make a strong run last year, and they could make a strong run in 2025. I think they're going to hold out on a Devin Williams trade this offseason, and by all indications, that's what we're kind of hearing out of Milwaukee. So, yeah, the Airbender's big time, but I don't think he gets moved this offseason. We got El Pastor. How confident are we that Glasnow makes it through the season healthy? How confident? I mean, I would say I'm at a 5 because he has continued to deal with injuries throughout his career. He did make a career high in starts and innings pitched last season. But the thing that concerns me about Tyler Glasnow is that in his press conference towards the end of the season, talking about the injury, he said that one of the key things that he was going to be working on this offseason was his delivery and his release and his move towards the plate because he put so much pressure on his elbow. So have they refined that? And mechanically, can they put him in a better position to stay healthy? If they think that they have found that and he avoids any major injury, major surgery, then I'll feel a little more confident. But hopefully we'll get Glasnow on this show at some point this offseason. We'll ask him because, look, Tyler Glasnow, when he's on the mound, is elite. He is frontline. He is at the table with Blake Snell and Shohei and Yamamoto and top-level starters in Major League Baseball. It's just keeping him healthy. I hear the people out there, Tyler Glasnow. You got to add another S to the glass in his last name. Made of glass, all this stuff. Tyler Glassarm. Look, I mean, it's just magnified because of how good he is, how top-level he is. But the truth of the matter is that Mark Pryor and this organization, they're going to address the injury situation, and they're going to have a plan to try to avoid it. And Tyler Glasnow is one of their top pitchers. And I think that this signing of Blake Snell hopefully takes some pressure off of Tyler Glasnow. We got to Lucas Johnson, 499 Super Chat. Do you think the Snell signing with LA, we will re-sign Buehler? I mean, Bob Nightingale said that the answer to that was no. I wouldn't rule it out. I think it'll be largely depending on Walker Buehler at this point, because I don't think the Dodgers would have an issue with giving Walker Buehler $15 million. That's a drop in the bucket for this organization. But I think it's kind of roll and what other offers are out there for him. So I wouldn't rule it out, but definitely it's less likely today than it was yesterday, especially if they go out there and get Roki Sasaki. Because you get Roki Sasaki, he ain't pitching in AAA, right? I mean, just because you don't have to keep on the 40-man roster, Roki Sasaki, if you sign him, will 100% be a part of your 6-man rotation. I was talking to someone within the Dodgers that did tell me that he hopes that they don't rush Roki if they do end up with him, but he certainly will be a part of the Dodgers. You got Pika Peep. Ferris has the makings of a big game starter, following him to close out the season on the farm. Cubs kicking themselves for dealing him. Yeah, absolutely. Pika Peep says Ferris has the makings of a big game starter. You know what he told me? His goal was to be a Hall of Fame pitcher for the Dodgers. That tells me a lot. Not just to make the show an all-star team, to be a Hall of Famer. That says a lot about how Jackson Ferris views himself and his future. Pablo Ramos, 5 years for a 31-year-old is too much, I feel. Dodgers Nation. Pablo, it's the price of doing business. And if 5 of those years you win a World Series or 2 in the first 2 years, and he's a big reason why, then he's 100% worth it. Because then you're talking about a dynasty. You're talking about back-to-back for the first time, like Bob Nightingale mentioned, since the 75 and 76 Big Red Machine. So it just depends on how he performs in the first 2 to 3 years of that contract that ultimately will determine if it was a worthwhile deal. But the truth is, Blake Snell, you needed an elite starter. He was an elite starter, and you got him. I mean, look, Corbin Burns, that would have been 6+ years. Max Fried could have probably got him for less, but Max Fried isn't as good as Blake Snell, objectively. Audio mixologist, I was hearing Roki might not come to LA because with such a low contract, needs endorsements that he will be hard to get him with so many stars in the teams. Audio mixologist. You know, it's interesting. I'm doing an interview with a Japanese magazine. I'm going to ask him that question because I personally think that being on the Dodgers, being alongside, because here's the thing, if he's in San Diego, you could see Shohei's shadow all the way down San Diego. You could see Shohei's shadow all the way in New York as well. So he'll still be in Ohtani's shadow, even if he's in San Diego. But with the Dodgers, he can get deep into the postseason. And that's where the exposure is the biggest. I mean, go back and watch my interview with NPB reporter Jim Allen, and we talked about Roki Sasaki's deal that he has with a marketing company, Dentsu. So, yeah, there's a lot to it. I don't think that that's going to really hurt his. I think that his endorsement potential is bigger with the Dodgers than with the Padres, because the Padres, the truth is, they're historically a franchise that doesn't win World Series titles, if we're being just 100%. Leon J. Soto is the soul stone. Sadly, got to throw Lux and Teoscar off the cliff. I disagree. I mean, Soto is Soto, and it's fun to think about. I have not said on the show once I think they're going to sign him. I think he ends up with one of the New York teams, the Mets. Red Sox could go crazy. There's a possibility there. I just don't see the Dodgers as the team that signs Juan Soto. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Alicia Jones, Dodgers still need more pitching, so let's sign Buehler. Kiki, really hope Teo will be back. Dancy, Soto, Adames, Sasaki, I need to see the Dodgers break baseball. They've already kind of broken baseball, but now you're just like breaking it on whole other levels. Okay, before we head out of here, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. What are you guys most thankful for? I'll start. I'm the most thankful for the Guggenheim Group that rescued this Dodgers organization from the depths of hell, from the McCourt era, when you had the Frankrupt, when you had an owner that could not even pay his players, to an ownership group that last offseason committed $1.4 billion, won a World Series, and they are the team that makes the first big offseason signing the following year, and went out there and went and signed a Blake Snell. The Dodgers have an ownership group that is as committed to winning as any organization in all of professional sports. Baseball, football, soccer, hockey. There's not an ownership group on the planet that's more invested in winning championships than the Los Angeles Dodgers. So Mark Walter, Todd Boehly, Magic Johnson, Stan Kasten, this group is next level, and they made great decisions. They've made great decisions who went out there and turned this organization into what it is today, which is one of the premier teams in all of professional sports. I want to give them all credit. Bobby Patton, Todd Boehly, Billie Jean King, Peter Guber. You guys know Peter Guber. I actually saw him at a lecture once back in the day. He was involved with the Warriors too. I mean, Alan Smolinski. I mean, this Dodgers ownership group rescued this organization from bankruptcy, and turned them into the best organization in baseball and one of the best organizations in all of professional sports. Okay, Antonio, what are you most thankful for? And it can't be Clayton Kershaw.
Oh, come on, man. I'm just kidding. I'm just grateful to be, covering Dodgers with you guys throughout the whole year and for this next year. It's a great time. I remember watching the Dodgers back in high school in like 2006, 2005. Those are some dark days, even like 2004. 2004, though, Steve Finley's Grand Slam, one of the top moments of my life. But I'm just grateful to, continue to cover baseball with you guys. It's such a great time. 2025 is going to be insane.
Absolutely. How about Noel Sanchez? What's Dodgers thing? Anything Dodgers related you're most thankful for?
I'm grateful for the fans, man. These fans, they tune in every day to our show. They show a lot of love on our social media whenever we go to events, whenever we're at games, when we were doing the watch parties during the World Series. It's just beautiful to see the whole city come together, support all the players. They show up day in, day out during the bad games, during the good games. They show up for the really good shows. They show up during the shows where we won't have too much to talk about, but we still have a really good time. And really just, you guys are the best we could ever ask for. And you just show a lot of love to the team. And, 25 is my favorite number. So I'm really excited for 2025. I think it's going to be back to back, and we're just going to continue going up overall covering this team. So yeah, thankful for the fans.
Big Tommy Edmond guy. I love that. 25, baby. I love that. Yeah, we got Blade. What's up, D-Mac? I'm thankful for having the Dodgers here in California. Chaka says, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family and Dodgers Nation. Launchy Raider says, thankful for Dodgers Nation worldwide. Yeah, we love you guys. We love you fans out there. This is your show. I'm just hosting it. I always say that. I'm man of the fan here, and that's what makes this show unique. We got your comments on the screen. We don't always agree on all things Dodger baseball. We didn't agree on Blake Snell on a lot of different ways. We haven't agreed on a lot of things, but this is a great place to talk Dodger baseball because we want opinions and perspectives from all over. We got, but let me know down below before we head out of here. What are you thankful for? What Dodgers related thing are you most thankful for? This is the comment of the show from Nando390. I'm thankful I wasn't born a Padres fan. That's what I'm talking about. Nando is bringing it. Thank you for Nando. We'll give you a bruh. Give you a bruh. We got you're at Finley's. Yeah, that was a great Grand Slam. Some more. We got the Snells. We talked about that one. Some more. Gibby Meet Freddie. Thankful for his home run. We got IB Stroking, D-Mac Dodgers family. I appreciate you. Thankful. I like this from Ricky Flores. Thankful for all the tortas in LA. I know, right? Thanksgiving. You know what? Forget a turkey. I'm gonna eat all the tortas in LA. That sounds like it'd be good. So forget a turkey, man. Nice little, yeah, I'm going to find a good spot. But thank you so much, guys, for joining us here on Dodgers Dugout Live. Thank you so much to Bob Nightingale, his insight and expertise. We know you love having him on. But thank you for rocking with us. As always, my name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think
The Bonda event today, lookalike event.
If you guys are around LA, you have to go to the Anthony Bonda event. Noel, I'm very disappointed in this man because I want to get him some glasses and a hat and some fake tattoos. Cut the goatee a little bit, and I want him to enter it. But we got the second best thing. He's going to be there covering it.
Yes.
So if you see us at the Anthony Bonda event, come say hi. Is he going to be there?
So the girl that's hosting it, she saw him at the Rams game and showed him the flyer, and he laughed. So there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. Just like Bob Nightingale says, there's a chance he could be right fielder for the Dodgers. There's a chance he's going to be there. So go to the Anthony Bonda event. Where is it?
It's in Elysian Park.
Elysian Park. Those are great.
4 p.m.
The prize, I'm guessing, is $43 because the prize for the Ohtani was $7.
So the prizes are crazy.
Okay, what are the prizes?
First place gets $100.
Whoa.
Second place gets a 6-pack of Modelos. And
Yo.
third place gets a 3-pack of Modelos.
Yo, that is what's up, man. I should go, man. I should enter. I don't care.
You should,
I'll
man.
get,
You
yeah.
should.
We got, thank you for DMAC. Thanks for Xavier, Carlos, Claudia, 11. Love you, DMAC, and love you back. But thanks you guys for joining us here. See you on Friday. We're going to drop an interview tomorrow, so we will be dropping content. So definitely be on the lookout. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. We're all thankful to be Dodgers fans. Appreciate you guys. Remember, another bring us together, quiet like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue.